我觉得 EDG 的话来说，我感觉就是他们人不管怎么变，他们那个队就都会很强。然后他们换这两人，其实感觉对他们队也没有特别大的影响。然后我觉得他们中还有下比较强嘛。然后如果跟他们打的话，可能就要注意这个中下。然后至于上路和打野的话，我觉得就是相对于他们中下的话就没有那么强。
Welcome back, all you wonderful right people. We've got game 2 coming at you in just a bit. As Ning, you just saw him. I'm not sure. Was that the polite way of throwing flame at the jungle?
He was definitely calling out Haro out. He was like, oh, you know, it seems like whatever you change, you know, EDG are still a strong team. Except for their jungler.
Except for their jungler and their
Except
top
for their
lane.
jungler. Yeah, that was a very deliberate call out, but I have to say, I think from the performances we've seen so far, he is correct. That is a huge mismatch for him. So the minimum that Haro needs to do is really keep track of Ning. That's what they wanted him for that's why they picked the Kha'Zix for him, but he has to do that early game and throughout the entire laning phase as well. So I think the way that EDG can kind of get back in this is if they have a composition that has a very strong level 1, they can go into the enemy jungle and start tracking Ning from level 1. They cannot lose eyes on that man any moment in the game.
Are you telling me EDG need to play an early game instead of just looking for the laning phase?
They don't need to necessarily play an early game, but they need some like level 1 plannings where they can get a tab on where Ning is. It was just a slight moment where Kha'Zix was in level 6, couldn't go into the jungle, and they were able to punish so hard and basically snowball that game away from EDG. So Ning is the person that EDG need to find ways to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, IG have already shown that they seem to understand the blueprint for how to beat EDG. Focus that bottom lane. Focus that mid lane. I mean, you were even joking like, hey, I could take apart this strategy on the toilet.
It's a little too easy. And EDG, this is why they're currently the 4th place team in the entirety of the LPL. They've lost to teams like Snake before. And it really does come down, and Rogue Warriors as well, it really does come down to they're a very single trap team. Bot lane doesn't go well, nothing goes well. So they have to go back to strategies where I feel like they had a small stint where Malzahar was a very strong pick and EDG were finding success where they could play around Scout early 2v2 and have mid lane priority as well as the iBoy backup. They really do have to get something else in iBoy going.
Yeah, so it has to be said that during game number 1, Invictus Gaming actually had side choice priority, and they chose that red side. That's where we saw the Ornn counterpick. That's where we saw the Taliyah counterpick. So perhaps EDG, maybe they could try to take a page out of that and look for their own counterpick so they can get the priority.
Ooh, that's a tough question for EDG. One thing I don't like about EDG drafts is that they typically don't try to punish with counterpicks. They last pick the mid for the solo lanes, and for Ray, it's mainly just another tank. A tank that does slightly better in lane or slightly worse. It doesn't really matter, but for Scout, I think that's one thing that they can try to punish, even though it is against Rookie, but he could still pull out something crazy.
Well, I mean, fingers crossed, right?
Things are still stacked for IG.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They're going to have to try to pull out some sort of miracle here if they want to bring it to game 3, but our casters are ready to get us into that match.
Thanks, guys. And picking up where the desk left off, we saw that, you know, even though Ray didn't have the counter pick in that matchup, he still got Cho'Gath into Ornn, and it's another tank-to-tank matchup. EDG didn't get an upper hand in that lane. It's one of the first times we've really seen both Ray and TheShy take a step back and be role players for the team.
Neither of them did anything. It was a 4v4. And that's the curious part here for this game number 1 result. IG demolished the 4v4. They looked amazing, honestly, in comparison to that of EDG. And what happens if they bring TheShy, one of the star players of the team, down into that mix? Well, I think the answer is don't bring TheShy, as long as Ray's not there to follow one more time as well. Ray has been a very pivotal part of EDG's team fighting success with his amazing tank engages and his ability to navigate team fights. Well, just avoid it. Play tank on tank and stop him.
Well, 4 of his most played champions were banned out against him in the last match. And again, 3 of those get banned out by EDG here. Gameplank, Nah, and Camille taken away once again. Whereas Kalista, Zoe, and Azir are the 3 bans that come out from IG. Kog'Maw's left up and available. And EDG this time round will lock it in as their first pick.
EDG, of course, note still on the blue side coming into the second game. IG still on the red side, so we haven't seen any major changes in that regard. Now, we already have seen changes. You mentioned the first pick. IG first picked Kog'Maw in game 1. EDG are preventing that from happening. So now we will see change immediately. And does it go towards the bottom lane? Do they pick up the Tahm, Kench, or something of the likes to continue to be global?
Seems like all eyes are focused on the bottom lane once again. Varus is the lock-in for IG, being picked up by JackeyLove. We saw JackeyLove get Kog'Maw last match. EDG's response to that was Caitlyn. This time around, JackeyLove thinks he can pick up an on-hit effect attack damage builder, and he does get Tahm Kench as his supportive choice for Baolan.
Regardless, as long as it is a hyper carry, something that can contribute in the later stages of the game, then it is successful for IG as the draft is concerned. The Tahm Kench with it. We saw the priority from EDG in game 1, and it felt like they picked it early to deny it from IG in some degree. And so things start to shift here as the draft pans out.
Yeah, Haro this time will get his hands on Sejuani, and Scout will pick up Ryze. We mentioned earlier that Ning, he's not, you know, when you think of his playstyle, he's not the one that's going to go towards Sejuani. He likes to pick up the Jarvan or the Kha'Zix, but it's his most played champion. By far in the LPL at the moment. Ning has picked up a lot of games for Sejuani, plays it slightly different from the rest of the league, does go into lanes a little bit more, get his laners ahead in the early game before scaling into late game. So we'll have to see what he does and what champion he picks up later on, but Rookie's going to get his hands on Orianna, which was banned out against him last match.
Now we are also starting to see some junglers being focused here by EDG in the second ban phase, where it's supports for Invictus Gaming. Meiko's one of the few Lulu players, so I like that they've removed it off the board. Get rid of that. Janna is still a possibility, but it's not as much of a concern as the Lulu is for a Kog'Maw lane. And the Braum to be taken away. Protective and works with the Sejuani. We just saw it from IG. They know it's strong. It works so well, so they just removed that one off the board. And now Ning has to play something that he doesn't play near as much as his Sejuani, like you mentioned.
Yep, as Jarvan and Skarner have been banned out, he can go back towards Kha'Zix, which we saw Haro pick up in the last match. Johnny does have a good matchup into the Kha'Zix, so thanks to her passive, he can't quite assassinate her if he finds her in the jungle, but here's that second tank that a lot of junglers are going towards when Skarner has also Johnny taken off the table. Zac gets locked in for Ning.
Yeah, Zac going to be locked away. They pick up a tank for Ning once again. Didn't go towards something a bit more abstract like the Ivern that he has played. The Lee Sin that he could still play as around 8.2. Chooses to opt towards the tank, and it makes a lot of sense with a control mage mid, a low-ranged AD carry that deals high damage running around in the bottom lane for them. Wants to be in front and protecting that.
I believe it's his first match on Zac as well. We'll have to see how he plays the champion.
It is.
You know, we already know he plays tanks a lot different from other LPL junglers. Meanwhile, EDG have to pick up their supportive choice. Ornn has been locked in. That should be Ryze champion in the top lane unless they flex it with their final pick. But no, Meiko goes back to Alistar as his supportive choice.
There's no real value in flexing your last rotation of picks on the blue side, as you have to lock in both as well. That's more if they wanted to play the Ornn down there into the 2v2 at all. And up against the Varus, it works. But speaking of counter picks and flex picks, we've got ourselves a Fiora for the top lane. He knows the matchup, and TheShy's feeling confident.
Look, last match he said, you know what, I'll take the tank-on-tank battle. I'll just roleplay for the team. I'll sit back and relax. But TheShy, when he joined Invictus Gaming, he was the show. He was the one that everyone was looking towards. He wants the attention to be taken away from the bottom lane in this match, and they want everyone to look at him and see what he can do.
And he was also a Fiora player. He was competing with Duke for the top dog position, the top lane of Invictus Gaming against a world champion, and he's been able to push Duke to the wayside and cement himself as one of the superior players. He was a famous streamer for playing Riven. Now he's picked up the Fiora, so he loves those carries, and he does have what it takes to keep up with the best. And he's proving that right now. IG's entire team composition, their entire strategy and focal point on the map has gone from bottom to top in this game.
It has, and if IG can play to the way they like to, play ahead, get ahead in laning phase, pick skirmishes only, try not to go into team fights, this could benefit them, because we didn't see too much of TheShy last match. If they still go for the 4-on-4s, now they have a winning side lane push as well.
Yeah, the one thing they really do have going for them there, besides the Fiora, is, again, strength in the 4v4, something that IG seem to put a lot of focus towards, because the team composition warrants that they can go top lane, they can get TheShy ahead, then they can choose. Do they want him to teamfight? Do they want him to split push? Just get this Fiora going, and then work out the rest from there. And that's very easy to execute once the Fiora is ahead. So that's where the focus is when I say top lane. The rest of the map, I mean, a Varus Tahm Kench has great mobility, great pick, and is fairly tanky and hard to take down. So far, so good from Invictus Gaming. EDG on the other side, though, Fish. I'm going to say they started to take pages from Invictus Gaming's Game 1 draft. They started to try and replicate that for themselves. Kog'Maw to scale into the late game to work with the Ryze. Similar stuff here from EDG to what we saw in Game 1.
Well, they don't have the shields or the heals to protect Kog'Maw, but they definitely have the crowd control going to this match. Sejuani, Ryze, Alistar, even Ornn will provide that for iBoy if they get into those late game team fights. And they will definitely want to try and catch out IG in a 5-on-5 matchup. Try and bring TheShy away from that side lane split pushing, force him into a fight, and that's where EDG truly shine. As we mentioned earlier, everyone is here today to watch this matchup between Invictus Gaming and EDG. You can already see on your screen their rookie. He's 5-0 on Orianna, one of his signature champions in the LPL.
I know we haven't taken too long to talk about this one, Fish, but now the stats there. Now's a very good time to a 32 KDA on the champion is obnoxiously high as KDAs are concerned. We mentioned flawless on Lee Sin. Well, Rookie is doing the mid lane equivalent when it comes to Orianna. And he has proven, not just this split, not just last split, for the whole time he has been in the LPL, that if you give him Rookie, give him Orianna, he can win the entire game by himself.
Look, Orianna is turning to what Anivia is to Froggen. They're interchangeable now. Pretty much you see an Orianna in the LPL, that's probably Rookie's champion. He's picked it up once again against Scout's Ryze. We take a look at the Keystone runes once again. Kleptomancy being picked up by TheShy, that's normal on a Fiora on top side of the map. He's actually trying to play spoiler here as Haro tries to pick up blue buff for himself. But Unsealed Spellbook picked up by both AD carries and only for Ryze in the mid lane.
And I do wonder if this is JackeyLove adapting to what we saw from iBoy in game number 1 as well, going towards the Unsealed Spellbook and trying to match it. We are currently watching Ning do both buffs at once, something that is very unique to Zac, so we like to see that from Ning. But as we go towards the bottom lane, Fish, the Unsealed Spellbooks mean that Varus can play more aggressively. Like we mentioned with the Caitlyn, with the ability to clear waves and push, expend health if needed to trade, and then come back with teleport. Well, both AD carries can do that now. Neither supports can afford to, however.
In last match, the only difference was we saw Meiko pick it up for himself, whereas Baolan opted for more of a defensive summoner spell on the Brom. Now that he's on Tahm Kench, he can move across the map a little bit quicker with his own ultimate if he chooses to do so. We'll have to keep track of that later on. But top side of back, you can already see TheShy going for early trades against Ray, trying to get as much damage down as he can, but Ray's actually fighting against TheShy quite fine at the moment.
Yeah, he's doing okay. Once you've got the Bellow's Breath, once you have the shield being able to come out as well, you'll see that these trades aren't all that bad for Ornn, though the Ornn will start to run out of mana, and that's where things turn around very negatively for him. Also, whilst we're watching Ning invade the enemy red buff, of course, a bit of awareness of where the Sejuani is, which is why this is happening. Ultimately, Ning is running a clear pathing that puts him at very low health, which is why he is trying to prioritize the Scuttle Crab early, even smites it to get health. Because doing Gromp and doing blue buff simultaneously hurts, and it means you can't gank.
On top of that, it's the second game in a row that we've seen Ning pick up Zombie Ward. That was crucial for him to spot out Haro, who was moving into his own red buff, allowing Ning to make that aggressive invade into Ning's jungle. EDG now trying to spot him out as he tries to go towards the Raptor camp. Scout will stop him from doing just that, but he does pick up the red buff, so it's just been a trade and buffs between the two junglers.
Junglers of the world rejoice. Your mid laner just placed 2 wards and protected your Raptors. That is something that you never get to see in solo queue, but it's an absolute treat to witness in a competitive game. Saving those Raptors means a lot, but of course Zac just smartly recalls, respects that Ryze was missing, and chooses to go towards his own Raptors anyway.
You can see top side of the map again. TheShy still trying to dish out as much damage as he can against Ray.
It's also, while we're looking at this, Fish, it's worth mentioning that he started with Coin, and he's gone towards Kleptomancy. So this is similar to the Gangplank style builds that you see from a lot of carries in the top lane. He's going to start outscaling as long as he's trading with the tank.
And even when he's trying to get as much damage down to Ray, if he misses a couple of CS here and there, Kleptomancy is going to make up for it. We saw in the level 2 trade, he picked up 100 gold just from a couple of auto attacks.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how that pans out. For now, though, Ray is holding on perfectly fine top side of the map. Ning is right behind TheShy, trying to get as much jungle camps cleared as possible. So there's always that little bit of extra pressure. But now TheShy running low on mana. Ray might be able to turn this one around after he's built a couple of items for himself.
As you would expect, Fiora, whilst she can trade decently well, and she's expending most of her resources to trade to get Klepto specifically, that's why you're seeing her run low on mana. Now, she will teleport eventually. Ornn, as he can construct himself some items, will come back to lane and be perfectly fine. We get to see some Ning stats on the bottom of your screen. All of those were 2nd or 3rd in the entire league, so he's been performing very well.
He's been a very lane-focused jungler, as we mentioned time and time again in this series. Often trying to help out his solo laners, get them ahead if he can, or go down and make sure JackeyLove snowballs into the late game where he can make the flashy plays for his team. Haro, though, has snuck around.
The vision will not spot him. He goes straight into the bush. That ward does nothing to the explosive plan.
Baolan used his eat recently, but it should be back off of cooldown. And IG played that one nice and safe, not allowing EDG to get any form of engage on them in the bottom lane.
Respecting that fact, of course, that they don't know where the Sejuani is, so they assume that he's looking towards a gank somewhere. Ning is on the top side of the map. You saw him place vision. You can now see him clearing the wolves, and that means that IG's bottom lane are going to play defensively regardless. So this is that extra added, it's not even experience from them, it's extra caution, extra patience, and showing reservations, knowing where their strengths are, and playing accordingly that you like to see from IG. And for a 17-year-old that was born in 2001, to have any kind of confidence like that working with Baolan is magical almost.
Well, we know that both iBoy and JackeyLove are incredibly confident players. We've seen them in interviews time and time again. They're
That's why
always
it's a
very
surprise
excited as
fish.
well.
They didn't just go for the fight because he's better. They didn't just take it.
Very patient players here, and you have to be if you're on one of the top teams in the LPL like EDG or like Invictus Gaming. Invictus Gaming already on such a good run to start this split of the LPL. They've been able to take down Snake and Cross Conference. EDG would be another trophy they would like to hunt.
Rookie 6.
And he gets the shockwave in the mid lane. Scout as well gets locked down by Ning. There's no way out for this Ryze. Tried to use the ultimate as stopwatch, but Ning's just a little bit too quick. First blood picked up by IG.
And we speak towards respect from IG's bottom lane, and now our attention is drawn to the mid lane. Rookie hits level 6, the shockwave's available. They have no vision of Zac, but you do know that he's level 5. You have no idea where he is, and steps up to mid-range in the mid lane. Does not flash the shockwave. Thinks that he can get out, use the stopwatch, use the ultimate. But the ultimate gets cancelled by Zac's Q, so just super slow and super laggy from Scout.
Not able to get out of there in time. Normally, that ultimate and stopwatch combo in this patch means that at level 6 you get one get out of jail free card. This time it's not the case, and Ning makes a good proactive move into the mid lane. IG are now ahead. In that middle lane, although it was Ning that picked up the kill, Rookie's been able to pick up a couple of items for himself, especially the Sorcerer's Boots.
Of course. The dynamic duo, however, of Invictus Gaming is still coming up pretty clutch here. The fact that Ning's able to work with Rookie in Game 1, we're seeing it replicated again in Game 2. But instead of going bottom, they're bringing the Zac towards the mid lane, get Rookie carrying. And again, we mentioned this in the draft, the difference in priority. The Varus and the Tahm Kench are prioritizing so dynamic as a duo. How do I compliment them when that happens?
I think Ning thinks he's the one that's going to carry in this match. Just picked up blue buff for himself. You know, Rookie doesn't need that one anymore.
If he dies with this blue buff on the bottom lane, I would be so upset as Rookie.
Oh, he's going for a gank. No teleports available, but he jumps in. Meiko can't cancel him. Double stopwatch. A lot of respect coming out from EDG. They try to turn around to Baolan, but they lock down Alistar. He has no ultimate. Meiko is very squishy, forced to flash away. Here comes Rookie down here. However, they do get the kill into Baolan with Ignite being used by Alistar.
They committed far too hard to the continuation of that dive, IG, and they did not have enough damage to secure a kill on a Meiko. They've all revealed themselves on the bottom side of the map, and TheShy is looking.
And he gets some good damage in the top lane, but Ray's able to charge out of there.
At the end of the day, you take the double stopwatch as a win. You don't overexert yourself any further. And EDG, yes, they hit the headbutt pulverize and try and turn it around. It's not like IG walked away from the fight. They still continued it. They still tried to make the trades. And they are made to pay for it.
It does give IG some time to go back to base, though. They pick up their first components of items. You'd expect EDG to do it shortly after, since they've now pushed in the wave from the bottom side of the map.
You have to look at what was used as well, Fish. Past that point, the flash was actually used by Rookie on the back end to try and shield the Tahm Kench, I believe. Try and keep him alive. He was a little bit too late to that mark, and it means that if a Sejuani shows up mid with a Ryze, they have kill threat in terms of damage. Whilst the cleanse is available, they can still chunk him out just through raw deeps.
3 summoner spells being burnt as well from the side of EDG. Only iBoy's flash left available for Kog'Maw in the bottom lane. IG burnt both heal as well as ignite, so they don't swap out for anything. Neither AD carry decides to. But IG with their first recall, they don't get the best back. They don't get to buy more items than EDG, but they do get to come back onto the rift slightly faster. There's other shot. Ray fancies a fight against TheShy here. Doesn't get the cancel. Oh, the invulnerability, I should say, on Fiora to stop the ultimate from Ray. And Ray gets the upper hand, forces him back to base.
Just a pure mechanical mistake, it felt like, from TheShy using the riposte there. I believe he was trying to stop a headbutt or something, but instead he's just going to get knocked up. He's going to lose the trade and uses the ultimate to try and get away with a bit of extra move speed after proccing a Vital. So TheShy, that was an ult trade in the end, but he also actually just lost the trade.
Yep, small win for TheShy. Equalizes, sorry, small win for Ray. Equalizes in CS and also pushes a wave into the turret against TheShy. So we have an experienced lead as well moving forward in this match.
Oh, Varus ulti.
Yeah, very aggressive in the bottom lane. Alistar is level 6. Ning has jumped down into bottom lane. The lockdown Kog'Maw knocks them both together. Bounces Meiko back. Baolan still chasing after iBoy, but there's not enough damage to take down this Kog'Maw. Even Sejuani moving down into his bottom lane just to make sure that EDG stays safe.
Super curious from IAG. They lock down an Alistar and then they just walk past him in an attempt to kill the Kog'Maw. Well, they push him out a little bit in terms of laning, but he's going to get back up to full health anyway. is pretty much there now.
They do get his flash, and they get Meiko's ultimate as well. So if they get a return gank anytime soon, but this EDG going forward, Ning is waiting inside the bush, but they don't find the opportunity to go for the fight.
No, they're respecting the Ryze. Scat was missing from the middle lane as well, working with Haro in the river. Now IG are afraid. They know full well that someone may try and dive them.
Do they force it here? Sejuani
Ning
is waiting in the river.
Is really just there to zone. He doesn't want to do anything, and EDG can't force now that Ning has also revealed his position on the map. I do feel like most of this will actually just diffuse in the end.
And teleports are available for both top laners, and TheShy has returned to lane. He's giving Ray a hard time at the moment, pushing him underneath his turret. Scout has been missing from the mid lane for some time. Ducking into Fog of War whenever he clears out that mid lane, forcing Rookie underneath the turret as well.
Ning does have a large experience advantage, however, over Haro. It's 2 levels, considering their CS is equal. That is a very surprising amount.
Well, an extra blue buff and a kill here and there would help you out with that.
Yeah, it would. Maybe the blue buff was genius in the end. It wasn't actually. It actually really hurt Rookie. His mid priority was suffering. And the second blue is equally as important, however, for Rookie. Hasn't got the Morellos completed, and even then, when he completes the item, he has a fairly low mana pool if he wants to push the wave against a Ryze. So here we go again, top lane.
Another ultimate being thrown out by Ray. This time TheShy dodges it, and Ray might be taking a ton of damage here. He slides forward, gets the ultimate procs, but just not enough to take down Ornn.
TheShy does have flash, however, so does Ray, and TheShy will just stay around this. Use the Vam Scepter, lifesteal, regenerate, force the teleport out of Ray, you would expect. The riposte was there the entire time. He chose not to use it.
This time around, TheShy shows his mechanical prowess, making sure he can dodge around all the abilities coming out from Ray. But Ornn is safe underneath this turret. He needs a burst of damage to take him down. Doesn't have that. Doesn't have the prolonged lane that Fiora would like to be able to take him down.
Yeah, Scout also turning around this middle lane to help him out just a little bit more. And as top lane starts to equalize and Fiora starts to try and generate some pressure, it's all still the Scout show in the middle lane for EDG. And that's the most crucial pivot point on the map right now for them. Haro has not thrown out the ultimate. He hasn't tried to hit a target at all yet. But they are slowly finding their way towards that point. And usually for EDG, it's in about 3 minutes. And it isn't a dive towards a lane.
Rookie gets blue off this time round, so we should be have a lot more control over this mid lane. Scout has been pushing him in underneath this turret for some time. That turret has already taken 1/3 of its health in damage. The extra wave clear will now come out. Ning has spent so much time down in the bottom lane. We already know that this entire series is focused on that bottom lane matchup.
Ray's gone for futures market because he's negative in the gold right now. He's committed towards that, and his inspiration is the secondary trick.
Just making sure he can buy a couple of items in the top lane earlier than he needs to.
Rookie also doing very well as the gold values go, as is Ning in the jungle for Invictus Gaming. And if they have a gold lead, that's where most of it is going to be found. Even though Ryze has had control of mid, he's had control of the wave, and that's why EDG have been able to do so much work. Rookie gets a blue buff. He does get the Morellos completed, so now his damage is high. Things start to shift. The dynamic rearranges itself one more time.
Again, more trade stops out of that. TheShy this time will riposte the stun that comes out from Ray.
Not that any of this is meaningful, except that TheShy has a Klepto.
The only thing that TheShy really gets out of that, besides the Kleptomancy spell, is the fact that he keeps Ray underneath the turret, so he has priority of dipping into Fog of War, teleport if he has to. Both are melee champions, so they can't really chip away at the outer turrets.
Though I would say that if both top laners were to teleport somewhere, I would rather have an Ornn teleporting to my lane than a Fiora. In terms of team fight impact.
Despite the early kills and the skirmishes that we've seen so
Sejuani?
far. Oh, looking for a gank onto Rookie. Not going to land the charge. Shockwave is good on the Scout, locking him down a little bit longer. Good cleanse coming out from Rookie, but ultimate comes forward from Haro. Will they lock him down in time? They do get that first kill, but now Baolan's trying to move into this mid lane. Doesn't bring JackeyLove with him, so they don't have the damage to get the return kills.
It was a defensive effort here. Rookie uses the cleanse and the flash, and he just needed to dodge the Sejuani ultimate. He couldn't. And suddenly IG use a lot and still die.
And IG are now trying to see if they can protect their AD carry in the bottom lane. Both Haro as well as Meiko were trying to wrap around inside of the blue buff of IG's jungle. Haro will lock down Ning for some time there with the stun, give the control over that position.
Mid lane is not a place that Ning can really defend unless Scout makes a mistake.
Oh, Ning thinks that he can go for a fight here. Red buff is sticking for this sack. Shield comes out for Scout, turns around, dishes out some damage of his own.
Yeah, it was not too bad in terms of poke, considering there's an Abyssal Mask available for the Ryze. It does mean that Scout should clear the wave and recall. but he has the teleport, so EDG still have control.
And they're going to move towards the Ocean Dragon to pick it up for themselves. But despite the 2 kills that EDG been able to pick up against the 1 of IG still lead the game by about 2,000 gold just from laning phase alone.
And I wonder how much of it is going to be towards the Fiora soon. Not just yet, of course, the difference wasn't significant just yet, but you've got a 27, 28 CS lead. It'll start to equalize just by a little bit. But still TheShy putting in serious work.
You've still got an even mid lane matchup besides the 1 kill that's gone over to Scout. Jungle is ahead for IG at the moment. Ning was 2 levels above of Haro, who has since caught up, but does have that extra kill and about 10 CS more. And in the bottom lane, JackeyLove is leading at the moment on the Varus. Already picked up the Rage Blade, has Berserker Greaves, and a Negatron Cloak picked up as well, moving into a Wit's End shortly.
Is super strong, but so is the Kog'Maw if they both get to 2 items, and Kog has that range advantage, so really... Oh wait, actually, are getting to see the Kleptomancy difference here. It is now.
All the gold for IG is currently on TheShy.
That is the lead. 600 for Ning, first blood, blue buff. Big part of that.
So TheShy can't cancel a teleport coming out from Ray if he decides to go into a 5-on-5 team fight. But if IG can keep it to a 4-on-4, it's even, and TheShy gets to hold on to that gold advantage and continue to split push as he is now.
We've already seen the reactions from TheShy when it comes to riposting crowd control while he hits under the turret as well. EDG threatening a dive right now into JackeyLove.
Can they collapse onto him? Uses the stopwatch very early. Meiko still has Pulverize, gets it onto both Baolan as well as JackeyLove. The Eater's available, will be able to protect him. Now Ning moving down to the bottom lane. Teleports coming in from both top lane as well. They're trying to lock them down on the side here. The Tribe Rush, they knock him back. Meiko's very low. TheShy gets that first kill. Ornn tries to throw down the ultimate, but it's not enough to deter Invictus Gaming, and they turn around that 4-on-4.
And that dive was just so disheartening to watch from EDG. Meiko had it. Meiko called it. He was going forwards, and he gets the stopwatch now and immediately from JackeyLove. But Haro doesn't go. iBoy could barely go. They were waiting for the stopwatch, and suddenly Ning was there. Teleports were there.
And now Scout's in trouble, trying to collapse on towards the Ryze. Ning doesn't cancel his ultimate in time. Very close, though.
The flubber was flying. He just could not find it.
However, that play in the bottom lane, that's 2 times now in this series we've seen it from JackeyLove, using the stopwatch at the correct time to give IG the time to respond to EDG's aggressive moves.
Yeah, and of course it was still like Baolan was trying his best to trade, does get the 3 stacks up and is able to influence the remnants of that fight, but Meiko overreaches, and now bottom lane Ning, no, that's a blue buff.
Yep, flash and heal still available for iBoy, but look, blue buff's the main target of the moment. JackeyLove taking a lot of damage, but they do kill Kog'Maw first. Baolan is able to save Varus, brings it back all the way to his turret. Ning is in some trouble, still has passive available. He will split into bloblets.
No teleports.
Nobody is there to protect the jungler from IG, so they trade 1 for 1.
They will trade, and it's still presence around the bottom lane outer turret. Rookie has no mana, and he doesn't have a mana flow ban to do this blue buff. It's going to take him like the full duration of this wave pushing. I don't know if he'll even be able to help defend it just yet. In fact, he's going towards mid lane, and EDG have a ward on it, so they know.
Here's that fight again. Ning does get the initiation onto iBoy.
Yeah, goes in, hits the knock-up, bounds them together, and iBoy still does a whole lot of damage here on the back end of this fight, but Ning, there's nowhere for him to go. It's knocked up. Doesn't actually take the, there it is, takes the true damage, and then Scout with the teleport. So once again, we saw all the teleports EDG's composition has compiled for themselves, and now we get to see them used actively, proactively, and reactively to try and get something.
However, without iBoy, without the Kog'Maw, EDG did not have enough damage to take down the bottom lane outer turret, which gives TheShy enough time to get first turret for IG. Now they're 4,000 gold up.
And then you look at the difference in gold between top laners, and you'd say, I know where most of that lead is. And unfortunately, whilst that is a very good thing for IG, having it on the Fiora, someone who doesn't necessarily excel at team fighting, and a place where IG are very weak is team fighting, they are so reliant on some kind of 1-4 or 1-3-1 lane assignment that closing this game out could be a very challenging affair.
It could be, however the rest of the map is still even for Invictus Gaming. They are not losing one side to benefit TheShy. They're staying even and allowing TheShy to do what he does best. He's shining this game so far. Now we have to see what he can do with this extended laning phase, because despite the first turret being taken down on the top side of the map, IG have yet to rotate their AD carry support to the top side, still moving both JackeyLove and Baolan to the bottom lane, giving TheShy the amount of room he needs to chase down opponents in the top lane.
You know, there are a couple of things here that are super good for IG, and even though that is that weakness, is that he's gone towards the upgraded coin. Now he's got wards once he gets towards the gold, so it's very hard to kill the split pusher when he can ward for himself. More often than not, that is the #1 weakness of someone that split pushes, because they can't afford to have all the vision in the world. They need to have items or they lose split pushing. So he's got that. Now he's also upgraded.
He's got a sweeper's lens as well as the deny vision from EDG as well. He's already gone back to base. He's got a Trinity Force, Ravenous Hydra as well. Even Mercury Threads being picked up here by TheShy.
I've seen this before.
We'll have to keep track of him later on. Across from him is a Frozen Heart, a Bramble Vest, as well as Ninja Tabby. Ray's job right now, or what he's building towards at least, is to try and stay alive in this split push.
Yes, the other thing though is that Scout could switch to teleport at a moment's notice as well. So if he really wants to, and if EDG have the idea of countering TheShy, if they recognize that that is where most of the gold is, then Scout could switch to teleport, and he could actually influence it. And not 1v1 TheShy, but go help the Ornn. They could 1v2 him.
Well, we've already seen him use the teleport to get down into the bottom lane earlier. I want to see if he does it to move towards the top side of the map. TheShy is built towards Mercury Thread, so he can remove a lot of crowd control from both Ray as well as Scout if they choose to make that play. But we'll have to keep track of that because in the bottom lane they're going for a fight. iBoy doesn't get locked down. He gets away from the tether that comes out from Varus ultimate. Good ultimate coming out from Meiko. Negates a lot of early damage, but they collapse onto Kog'Maw. Bounce him back as well. He goes into his passive. Now Meiko is weak without his own ultimate. Haro and Meiko both trying to run away. There's still a turret for them to retreat from. Scout was looking for the wraparound from the blue buff on Invictus Gaming side of the map, but they take that one pick on the AD carry, and that's all they're going to get.
Now they won't get the turret just yet. It's only one hit, but the next wave is when they look towards threatening the structure and taking it down. Scout continues and finishes off the recall, and now he's gone back towards mid lane because he has to defend it. All of this time, IG, Ning just goes in. They make the play with the Varus ultimate, with the Tahm Kench ultimate, and it's just super easy from IG.
And they're controlling the map incredibly well as well. TheShy split pushing top side of the map. Rookie making sure he controls the mid lane as much as he can. Scout still has a slight upper hand in that lane, able to dip into fog of war a little bit faster. But Rookie is close to respond. And we criticize IG for not being too good at 5-on-5 team fights. They'll never have to if they keep playing this way.
Exactly. At most, they'll be having the 4v4s you would expect. Now, mid lane is still struggling. EDG have been able to push that one, or at least Scout has been able to push that one down. And it's now just a stone's throw from falling. But we spoke about top lane being strong. Well, plays like this from IG, enabling bottom lane to be strong, opens up the map and gives so much space for not only TheShy, but for the rest of IG to swap lanes, to pivot, to rotate around now. And now the Baron is up and available at 23 minutes. They could start looking.
And they use that rotation to send JackeyLove and Baolan into the mid lane. Yes, that mid lane outer turret is incredibly low, but this is what we saw last match. They use Rookie's Talia to take the turret first before trading. They don't have that option now. Instead, Rookie is on the top side of the map, and 4 members of EDG are here. This could be a dangerous spot for the Orianna.
Yeah, they could collapse onto him. Both summoners available, however, for Rookie. And in terms of diving, a Sejuani wants to throw up from range. It's very difficult to lock down the Orianna when she has the ultimate there with both summoners up. IG wanting to save their mid lane outer, also wanting to push their opponent's mid lane outer, but no control of the river means that it's just defense right now.
And they're still holding on to it. You can see Ning moving back and forth between the top lane as well as the mid lane. TheShy now has 2 prolonged lanes to work with, both on the top side of the map as well as on the bottom side. EDG do walk up and they take the mid lane outer turret nice and easy, equalizing the turrets in this match, despite it being very close in kills as well. It's currently 3-4 in favor of Invictus Gaming. This game is still a 4,000 gold lead for IG just 24 minutes into the match.
Yeah, I mean, the gold lead, we mentioned where it's placed, and I do feel like that is a big point of strength for IG. I'm still seeing a lot of hope for EDG coming into the second game, especially to contrast the difference between games 1 and 2. Game 1 ended 3 minutes from now. IG smashing through mid lane. Coming into this one, we said last game that the 4v4 was important. This game around, the 4v4 is still a point where EDG can win.
And they can turn into a 5-on-5 as well, which we haven't seen from EDG in this series so far. That's where they're strong. That's how they make their way back into this match. Find a big team fight against IG. IG looking to try and split them up as much as they can, but the longer this game goes, the longer that IG don't have any more objectives to take, the harder it is for them to try and close out this match, because EDG are just sitting back, relaxing, and waiting until that team fight comes online.
You know, there will be a point, however. You can look at the itemization of this. Fiora has the Ravenous Hydra, has the Trinity Force completed, and has actually picked up another Vamp Scepter. That to me indicates all in on split pushing. It may well be a Bloodthirster or something of the likes. It could even be a Blade of the Ruined King if he wants to cheese a little bit more because he knows that he's just going to be against the Ornn. But a Bloodthirster, something else that has lifesteal, means that you can take damage from Ornn and not be concerned. And sooner or later, Ornn will get phased out. His ability to wave clear is there, but it's not super powerful. On a cannon wave even, you can just walk up and ignore him, then just lifesteal on that next wave. So that's what you're looking towards. From the side of IG, sooner or later, TheShy will become too overbearing with his splitting.
Well, you can see the gold there once again. 400 is what separates the mid lane and AD carries. Mid lane going in favor of EDG, bottom lane going in favor of IG at the moment. Ning is slightly ahead of Haro. All the gold, though, is being shoveled to TheShy at the moment. He has a massive lead, 80 CS up over Ray. The map has been split up nicely for him to work with to try and split push. But EDG look to try and take Baron first. Ning and Rookie are right here. They spot it out. Is that 6,000 health? Are they going to try and burst this one out? Seems like they want to.
Rookie's got the ball right there with the shockwave, and Ning is around the corner.
3,000 hit points. Ning can just go in for a fight. He can jump over the wall. Rookie's here as well. They go in for the fight first, but they do lock down Baolan. However, turning around, missing the shockwave. Scout uses the stopwatch to stay alive. JackeyLove takes a lot of damage, but he's still trying to kite this one out. Turns into a full-blown team fight. However, Haro is already dead. This is a 4-on-4. They're going to return kill onto the jungler. JackeyLove still alive. iBoy's at full hit points. He's just trying to kite this one back. TheShy trying to add some damage as well. Second rotation of W comes back up for iBoy. Can't get enough damage for it. Both junglers are going to fall, and it seems like IG and EDG are just going to reset.
Rookie does not hit the shockwave, but he still has enough presence of mind to continue the rest of that team fight. They hold. That was very close, but IG, they get a turret. They actually win the trade. And honestly, they did not win the team fight, but some miracle is enabling them to win the rest of that fight, the rest of that trade, individual plays.
And that's a big point of the map for IG to break, because although they had the long lanes on both top and bottom lane for TheShy to work with, EDG still had that mid lane out of turret, so they could group up, have more control over the middle of the map and look for those fights. And that's kind of what they were trying to do with Baron, but they didn't want to burst it down with the threat of Ning being there.
The scary thing is that was the fight for EDG. Yes, they were missing a bit of resources to the Baron buff. They started it off and they played the risky game.
Oh,
they're going to start it one more time. IG, there's no Fiora. She's bottom with a teleport missing.
This is a 4-on-5. If EDG can find the fight, Meiko goes for initiation against Baolan. He does have great health to use, tries to flash away, still being locked down. Shockwave is good, but not enough damage coming out from IG. Response comes out from JackeyLove. Scout steps forward. Haro uses his own stopwatch to stay alive a bit longer. 4-on-5 at the moment. EDG do have low health bars here. iBoy taking some Baron damage as well off the back of that, but again, it's just a reset.
That bush is very controlled, by the way, Fish, but IG are here. TheShy is available, and the biggest thing is what you don't notice. It's the Varus ultimate cancelled, the second Ornn ultimate proc. They're going again.
They're trying to jump in. Ning's going to bring Haro back. It's a 4-on-3, a 5-on-3 at the moment. TheShy's able to get away with a cleanse there, trying to jump away from this fight. EDG still trying to chase him down. Ultimate being used by Ryze. They're trying to split him. He's stopping but he kills Haro! Takes him down! Meiko falls to Rookie's clockwork wind-up as well, and TheShy slides into iBoy's easy amps, force him to flash away. The rest of EDG trying to run away from this one, but IG are piling on in, looking for the fight themselves. TheShy gets back in, Ning picks up that kill, and they open up the map.
They cannot take down this Fiora, and suddenly Invictus Gaming, capitalizing on the mistakes of EDG, they get the picks, they go straight to the Baron pit themselves. And how the tides have shifted and how quickly it has happened.
And they move straight towards the Baron buff as well. After that fight, they were 8,000 gold up over EDG. Now close to 10,000 in the lead. They've taken out all the outer turrets, and it's looking like game one all over again.
And it feels like EDG were making desperate plays for this Baron, but it was working for them constantly. It looks like they're going to get these picks. They're going to make these plays, and it's going to work for them. And this is the point. Scout wants to ult. They want to find him, but they split. Haro does not have his passive. He is going to immediately die. Meiko does not have his ultimate. He is also going to just go down. And you're left wondering with EDG from that point. The rest of the fight's a cakewalk. They pick up Scout, and TheShy does play it well. But why take the Ryze ultimate? Why follow that through? And if you're going to follow it, why send both of your squishy tanks without the spells that make them tanky into the face of an Orianna?
Crucial item pickup for TheShy as well in that fight. We thought it could be the Bloodthirst, we thought it could be Blade of the Ruined King, but he goes for Mercurial Scimitar. When Scout locks him down, he not only gets out of the CC, but gets that boost of movement speed to draw EDG closer to IG's side of the map. Yeah. They get the team fight. They've got a Baron. They've got Dragons now. 10,000 gold on the lead. Slowly going to make their way towards these next few turrets.
And now you would assume the Guardian Angel is next for TheShy with his Fiora. Has the BF sword available to him. The big and friendly sword, no less. But the Mercurial Scimitar seems to be a conscious decision that EDG were going to team fight. And he's gone for a split push team fight hybrid. If he is a good player, then it works wonders. And it did.
And again, still no 5-on-5 from these two teams. Every single time it's been a 4-on-5, a 3-on-5 earlier. And IG are still splitting up the map as much as they can. TheShy is taking down bottom lane inner. He's able to work on bottom lane inhibitor turret as well. 2 levels above Ray. IG control the red side of EDG's jungle as well, moving their way towards that inhibitor.
That's pretty much just the turret. There's no way Ray can stop it. EDG, they want the fight.
They want to jump in. TheShy takes a lot of damage. Mercurial Scimitar used again. Ning gets into the backline. He's taking a lot from iBoy as well. That might be the jungler falling. They lock down JackeyLove as well. Baolan tries to save Zac. This is a good fight for EDG. Here comes the Realm Walkers in the backlines. JackeyLove is still alive, trying to cut this one out. He flashes away. He gets away, but it's not enough. The scout takes him down. iBoy now trying to fight against TheShy. Double kill picked up by EDG's mid laner. Only Baolan and Ning left alive, and they're trying to run for the hills and get away from EDG, who just fought back from 10,000 gold behind.
They will still get the rest of this team fight. They'll presumably kill Baolan, and EDG have just pulled off the miracle.
They certainly have. Taking down Baolan. That's a 4-for-1 trade. IG could not teamfight EDG despite being 10,000 gold up and having a Baron buff.
And if you want any more proof, Fish, that the curse is real, just look at IG trying to team fight when this far ahead. Ning well and truly overextends himself. JackeyLove does the exact same thing, but it's Rookie that gets called out. No cleanse, no flash, no clue what he's doing in that position, and that really just speaks towards IG's team fighting. JackeyLove was so damn close to pulling up some kind of magical moment, but he couldn't do it.
He was 1-on-1 against Scout, flashed away from the first Q. Scout flashes away as well to avoid damage and get that final bit of damage onto JackeyLove on the back half of that team fight. But Rookie, he was one that got caught out. JackeyLove left him hanging when he went aggressively forward. No shockwave in that team fight. Yes, we've seen a missed shockwave earlier, but it wasn't followed up by Rookie dying right after.
And I would say a lot of that is actually Ning's positioning with where he jumped in. A lot of IG were actually piling in to try and help him, to try and assist their jungler that had overextended himself. But ultimately the answer should be to let Ning die and try and kill their tanks that have engaged instead, knowing full well that if you're 11,000 gold ahead, you should be able to kill the tanks faster than they can kill your tanks.
On top of that, it's a Blade of the Ruin King, Wits and Rageblade Kog'Maw. Ning doesn't have any armor. He's full MR. The Wits End's going to take it away. The percent-based health damage is going to chip away at Zac as well when he tries to go so aggressive. They need some way to lock down iBoy.
They do, and I mean, I understand that Zac is going to be a major part of that, of course. At the same time, I don't know if IG need to do all of these things. EDG, they're hard engaging. But it's not even a Guardian Angel from TheShy, it's a Bloodthirster this time, so he's full committed towards the split pushing. They should be tearing EDG apart on the map, top lane and bottom lane, and they should be able to continue this as long as they have mid priority until the next Baron spawns, and that should be the game decider.
Baron buff has expired. Not only is Baron going to spawn in about 2 to 3 minutes,
it's a lot of shield,
but Elder Dragon is next on the line.
All of that was a lot.
Backdoor protection is not going to allow IG to take down the turret in that push, but they will be able to do so with this wave creeping into the top lane. Only top lane and mid lane inhibitor turrets are left standing. Bottom lane inhibitor did not fall during that skirmish, and IG still hold on to a 12,000 gold lead in this game. EDG are fighting back nice and strong. The first 5-on-5 we get in this series, they are able to pick up a 4-for-1 trade despite all the setbacks, showing that they still are confident and strong in that playstyle. And you mentioned earlier on, Rusty, the time for IG to split push is only a limited window, and that's starting to become a lot less of an opportunity for them to take.
And it's not just the time anymore, it's the area on the map that they actually can split push in. If EDG are defending top lane and TheShy is anywhere other than bottom, the distance between the lanes is significantly less as they get closer and closer to their nexus. So IG are finding that delicate balance that they need to dance on, that fine line of can they split push, do they need to team fight? And it really feels like they're disconnected when it comes to making those shot calls. They know it's a weakness, they're trying to work on it, and right now they've drafted themselves a way around it. We'll see if they can continue to circumvent that fact, or will a second consecutive team fight somehow go to EDG when it shouldn't.
It's a big match for these two teams as well. IG looking to propel themselves to be the #1 team in the LPL at the moment after taking down Snake, who are top of their conference. Now EDG, who are fighting to be the top in the league as well. Whereas EDG, a victory in this best-of-3 series would pull not only themselves and IG, but also Snake to be tied for top of the table at the moment with a few games in hand to a couple of teams. But we're approaching late game. Yes, it's 35 minutes, but this is late game for the LPL. And EDG's team fights are starting to look incredibly scary.
There is something that does stick out like a sore thumb though, Fish. Something that we do need to address is how much magic damage is available for EDG and how little physical damage is honestly present at the same time. It means that the role of TheShy, even though he's gone towards very limited tank items, he has 2 magic resistance items, and that might be enough. complement that with the lifesteal. You look at the jungle role, it's just a Negatron cloak to be picked up by Ning as the start of his next item. IG have acknowledged full well that it's just magic damage stacked on EDG, and even though their team fighting is good, it does still feel like that uphill battle continues.
Even JackeyLove's going to benefit with a Wit's End picked up. After a couple of auto attacks, he'll be able to stack up some resistance to try and negate some damage, but still Scout and iBoy will be dishing out a lot. If they look at JackeyLove, he might just die, but TheShy does have a split push opportunity.
This is the moment. That was also a shockwave from Rookie, so he chunks the heck out of their health bars, and they're threatening. They should probably just run to Baron after they clear mid and let Fiora work, threaten the objective, and they should go now.
That's Meiko's ultimate down as well. There goes the bottom lane inhibitor. TheShy will take some damage from the rest of EDG. They actually cornered him, so this could be TheShy's life for Baron. Nobody from EDG is here. Big trade coming from IG, still using that split push to take objectives across the map.
And you know what? The inhibitor was already gone. So EDG, they lose out on both ends of the equation. 50 seconds on TheShy, and he has the teleport to come back anyway. As long as IG do not lose right now, and they're actually playing this very cheekily. They're not going to Elder.
IG moved towards top side of the map. EDG thought they could try and take an Elder Dragon from this. All four of them are now forced to recall as Ray can't stop them from pushing down this top lane inhibitor turret and inhibitor. Once again, splitting up EDG, not allowing them to get anything on this map.
They just made the monkey out of EDG. Jesus, the macro decision from IG, instead of going to the expected objective in EDG, they made the call. They sent their teleporter to the top lane. They sent all 4 members to respond to the dragon, and it was not touched. Now, it does mean that this should be picked up for free by EDG, unless IG can get there in time.
They're trying to get there. Baolan's been able to bring JackeyLove a lot closer. This dragon has not taken enough damage, but Ning is going to be the target. iBoy just does so much damage to the stack, but he jumps away from harm's way. Does have passive available. TheShy is teleported in as well. There goes Baolan. Locks down iBoy, forcing the flash away. Ornn's going to try and stop IG from reinitiating. Rookie does have shockwave available, puts in a good position. iBoy can't step up at the moment. JackeyLove still standing and delivering. Has Guardian Angel available for himself. Scout in trouble. Forced his own zone. His Hourglass to get away. Does he get far away enough though? JackeyLove is going forward. Big pulverize for Meiko, but it means nothing in this team fight as he gets locked down. TheShy to 3 people. He wants to take it. He gets 1. He is not afraid of anyone at the moment. Come at me, iBoy, he says. As the rest of IG come there, there's that shockwave. Rookie lands it, and that's all she wrote. EDG have to run for the hills. They need to get back to their fountain and watch as their base gets destroyed.
They've got the Baron empowered minions coming through the bottom lane. The buff's still there. IG have done it. They have absolutely swept EDG.
EDG tried. They got a big 5-on-5 team fight, but that's all they got in this match. That's all they got in this series as well. As IG, they march towards the Nexus and they secure themselves as the #1 team in the LPL at this moment.
And rightly so, as they reign on top of the leaderboard. And they beat EDG. This was a battle of the favorites, IG, against a team that everyone perceives to be the favorites in EDG, as they have been for so long. They've reigned supreme for how many splits now? But times have changed. The win-loss record from IG and EDG is starting to change with it. IG with a 2-0 victory.
And the only thing that IG need to collect now is that win against RNG. They got a 5-1 score after the end of the regular conference play, only losing their first match against RNG. And that was before they got TheShy in the top lane as well. They'll be looking to try and end cross-conference, pick up as many victories as they can before they seek their revenge. But right now, they are top of the table, and no one is close to this team.
They win in the skirmishes, they win in the team fights. They actually won in the execution on macro, which is what I mean by the team fights. The one time that IG looked shaky was when they met face-to-face 5v5, and they were made to pay for it. IG still look like a fantastic team, and they've already proven now that they have multiple different ways to win the game that isn't just a 5v5. They can do anything. They can play tanks in the top lane, carries in the top lane. They can play rotating mid laners, kill mid laners. They can just do it all.
The one thing we still criticize them for is going for those 5-on-5 brawls, 10,000 gold in front with Baron buff. EDG still found a 5-on-5 fight and took down IG. They still look uncomfortable there. We know that multiple members on their team have talked about it as well. But if they continue playing like this and making sure no team can take them on that 5-on-5 or be far ahead to win those fights, they're still going to be unstoppable. And some teams in the LPL need to start learning how to break down that strategy that IG have.
Of course, it is an interesting style matchup that we just witnessed between both of these teams. EDG are a team-fighting team, and they are able to make those aggressive shot calls and do it confidently with Meiko going first, picking the Alistar, enabling them to do exactly that. And IG, they just circumvent the fact as best they can. One mistake isn't going to be enough to beat IG. It has to be 2 or 3 forced errors from them. And on the day, EDG could not find that. They could not find it at all.
And there was still a couple from IG. They are unstoppable at the moment, but they can be beaten. And teams have taken games off IG, like the likes of LGD we've seen been able to pick off games against IG when they last played against each other. EDG were not able to do so today. They still had some moments of brilliance, but it just seems like after the loss against Rogue Warriors, they're starting to collapse a little bit.
Yes, we talk about IG, they're unstoppable but not infallible. We talk about EDG, and they are on a crash course currently with their trajectory in the LPL. Even their 2-0 victory against Ning Gaming was messy, and then they get perfect gamed and don't get a single kill in the whole set against Rogue Warriors, and this is what happens the set after against Invictus Gaming. Another 2-0, they are falling.
They try to put up a fight, but IG were just too good in this matchup against EDG. We're going to send it back to the analyst desk to break down the series.
Thank you so much, guys. And, you know, Fish said it at the end of the game. IG are the best in the league. They've just defeated all of their competition. What on earth can possibly bring this team down?
And they have done so in a very, very convincing way. We have to go back to the ban picks again just to start everything off. I feel like this was a slam dunk, home run beat ban pick from IG. If you look at their champions here, they actually got 4 counter picks, and they also picked up every piece that they could that counters Kog'Maw. You talk about the Varus into Kog'Maw matchup. Varus has a 77.9% win rate into that matchup. Very lane dominant into the Kog'Maw. You also see they took away Tahm Kench, the favorite support that goes with the Kog'Maw. Then Orianna. With Orianna, Kog'Maw cannot pursue your team in a team fight, or else he walks into a shockwave. And then you have Zac and a Fiora that splits the team up. So this is a perfect composition to go up against the Kog'Maw. And I have to say that EDG did know this. They definitely knew that this was coming. All the picks were up. They still picked the Kog'Maw because they trusted in iBoy, because that is probably their only win condition at this point, and they had to throw everything into the Kog. Unfortunately, I think with this ban pick, it's so heavily favored for IG.
And this is where we come back to the team's identities. We mentioned a little bit more that right now Edward Gaming are the spear. They have 1 point of victory. They have that bottom lane of iBoy and Meiko to puncture through their opponents. Of course, IG showing, hey, we can play the Trident. Not only will we win through Rookie in the mid lane, not only will we win through JackeyLove in the bottom lane, but TheShy on Fiora. This guy gets counterpick Fiora into Ornn, and then shows why you should pick this Fiora into an Ornn.
It's
and it all starts with
EDG
EDG looking for a fight onto IG.
Yeah, and this is where EDG really has some of a comeback. They realized that they could take IG in the 5v5 scenario, but they really overplay their hand right here, chasing off the shot. And TheShy, look at that ball, look at that instant burst damage back onto Haro, and that instantly turns the entire scenario. EDG are on the run, and from this point on, they can't really mount a comeback. They never get close to the Baron.
And we do see the final turnaround. Scout walks back in to try to finish off the TheShy. Can't quite catch up. But of course, that was already mid, getting closer to the late game. We had some really big items. EDG were able to make it through the laning phase without too much trouble comparatively to game number 1. So still, they are showing growth. They are showing some signs of life. And another opportunity for that was when they defended their bottom inhibitor. This was when we got to see what EDG's composition was supposed to do.
They are very good in the 5v5. Even though we've gave a lot of praise to Ning, I feel like he's one of their weaker team fighting jungles. We actually see him do this quite a bit, far overextends, and actually goads the entire IG lineup into pretty much a death trap. TheShy tried to salvage the situation, going one-on-one onto iBoy right here, but it's already too little too late. And EDG are able to win that team fight, and it looked like they had a chance for maybe one 5v5 scenario, but that really didn't happen.
Yeah, they weren't quite able to get themselves back in, because in addition to the fact that we saw the Trident out of Invictus Gaming playing through multiple different win conditions, they also showed us something that we haven't really seen too much for them. Very intelligent macro decision making, using TheShy to split push. The moment they see the Realm Warp bottom, they immediately rush and take the Baron, and then they don't just give up there, they push the inhibitor, preventing EDG from taking the Elder Dragon. They're just a step ahead on every level.
A clean play that actually got them them 2 objectives to 0. They got the Baron and also the inhibitor at the same time out of a single EDG mistake. And the big thing is that they avoided conflict and looked at objectives. This is a new trend for IG. Really smart, cerebral play. And it really is about a lot of how they recognize that they have a pushing lane with TheShy. They've really been playing around him. This is the best game I feel like they've played into a 4-1 composition. And previously, they've never really done that. They've always favored just, TheShy's having a winning lane. Let's go to his lane.
Yeah.
That's not really the way it works, but they have shown a lot of growth this time.
And as a result of that performance, though, TheShy is going to take our man of the match for this game 2 on the likes of that Fiora. 3, 2, and 4. You look at that scoreline and you say, all right, 3.5 KDA, but holy cow, was he so important for his team. I don't even know how they're able to play around someone who has mechanics like this.
The laning phase from him was just beautiful to watch. The amount of footsies he played around that Ornn really won him the game. He was up 2,000 gold in that lane alone by 15 minutes. Pretty much all of the early game gold concentrated onto a single person. And that's the scary thing about IG. They don't have one win condition. They have TheShy, they have Rookie, and they have JackeyLove at the same time. So it's really a difficult question how you are going to shut this team down. They're looking very invincible.
Yeah, well, perhaps a question for another day and a question for all future opponents. That being said, the standings have now been updated. Invictus Gaming at the top by a country mile, 9-1. And EDG still in the middle of the pack. It's the top half of the West group, but if you compare the conferences, things aren't looking too great for them.
The closest competition they have is from Rogue Warriors. They still have a matchup with them when they come back into their conference, but still there, 2 matches ahead. Really no answer to IG so far, and they really represent just the raw talent that LPL teams bring to the table. Like 3 all-star caliber winning lanes. There aren't that many teams like that in the world.
And we're seeing Baolan and Ning really start to step up as well to support these 3. In addition to that, of course, the LPL does not stop here. We've also got tomorrow's matches because, hey, it's week 5. The LPL, we're still going on for quite some time. Snake are taking on Suning and WE taking on TOP.
Oh, so Snake and Suning is going to be the big matchup of the day there. Snake looking for a rebound where Suning just dusted off LGD with minimal effort right there. So 2 teams that are looking good, really looking forward to taking it to each other. And also we hope that we can get a rebound from WE, because if they don't, I think Marin might run them over.
I very well could. We've actually got to take a quick break for just a few moments because we happen to have an interview with the star mid laner. Clement, I see you're already getting ready to sprint over to the interview station. Well, don't touch your browser because we want to hear firsthand what it's like to be on the side of that Orianna and how he's able to make that happen. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.